Hello, I'm Dallas Baird from the Finance News Network, and joining me from Chinese online mobile marketplace 99 Wuxian is Chairman Ross Benson. Ross, nice to have you back on FNN.
My pleasure, Dallas.
99 Wuxian listed on the Australian Stock Exchange back in October. What can you tell me about your progress since then?
Well, the progress has been very positive. We've seen strong transaction growth, strong registered user growth, strong number of transactions. We've had business partner growth and merchant growth. So at the moment, the business is growing very strongly organically.
You also have a few new business partners. What does that mean for 99 Wuxian?
Well, the important thing about business partners is our business model in China is B2B2C. And so in our case, the B in the middle is the majority of the banks in China. It's very important for our progress because as we expand our business partner base, we expand the reach that we have into all the debit and credit card holders in China.
99 Wuxian has added more merchants. Tell me about those additions.
We have. Our merchant pool has increased to over 150 now. Probably the most significant thing we're seeing with the merchants is that there's a very strong focus on virtual products. This is in the area of things like online gaming, online ticketing. Anything virtual also attracts a higher margin for the platform, so this is a very positive thing for the business.
How many active vendors do you have now in your mcommerce marketplace?
We have a total of 156, and probably a feature of 99 Wuxian's marketplace is that all these vendors are very large because there's a very high hurdle rate of criteria because of the credibility issues between a lot of our large business partners. So we have 156 and they're all very large.
How does that expansion impact top-line revenue growth?
Well, our main customer, we'll call it customer acquisition strategy via our marketing is through our business partners. So the key driver there is that our business partners, which are the majority of the banks, we have 8 of the top 10 banks in China. We now have a total of 43 business partners, and they're all actively out there promoting mobile banking. Once they become a mobile banking customer of that particular organisation, they then become potentially a customer of 99 Wuxian because they are mobile enabled for mcommerce. So the main strategy is to continue to grow our business partner pool, and there's very strong growth because of the behavioural change in China around mobile commerce.
The Chinese mcommerce market's tipped by some analysts to triple by 2018. Is that how the market's evolving?
Well, certainly at the moment, the indicators say that we're involved in a very fast and exciting sector, mcommerce in China. A lot of the independent experts are saying that e-commerce by the year 2018 will exceed 600 billion. And they go on to then say, and there's broad consensus, that we could see mcommerce represent over 50% of this e-commerce figure. Now, if that's the case, then our market that we're looking at is in excess of 300 billion.
And is 99 Wuxian positioned to adapt and grow in that market?
We would say that we're positioned very well because I think, again, going back to the independent reports, there seems to be a consensus that one of the single biggest barriers to entry in mcommerce, and for that fact globally, is fear and security of payment. Now, remember that when we face the customers, we're facing them through their trusted banking partners. So we overcome that major barrier to entry. So we think strategically we're well positioned. In addition, these business partners represent today still over 90% of the retail spend in China. So whilst e-commerce is a very big space, our business partner have very considerable consumer resources. So we think strategically we're in the right place.
Well, let's talk financials. 99 Wuxian has just released its latest quarterly trading update. What were the highlights?
Well, I think the highlights are that the transaction volume was up by 111% for the December quarter. We saw it grow from the June quarter of 580 million RMB to the December quarter of close to 2.5 billion RMB. We saw the number of transactions up significantly from 4.5 million to just under 9 million transactions for the quarter. We saw the average transaction spend per increase by 70-odd%, and we also saw an increase in our business partners and merchants for the quarter, so very exciting. The revenue is up 11%. That was impacted for the quarter predominantly through the activities that we had, which were variable cost activities in accelerating our customer acquisition to really accelerate the monetisation of our data mining activities.
And as you said, you saw a strong uplift in average transaction values. That must be encouraging.
Yeah, well, there is. I think for the December quarter we saw the average transaction jump from 173 RMB up to 298 RMB. This is very encouraging for a couple of reasons. First one is I think that it represents that the quality of the customers through this B2B2C channel tends to be higher than your B2C market. But it's also encouraging because the behaviour in China around mcommerce is a phenomenon that we don't actually have a lot of control over. Remember that the new Chinese consumer has completely bypassed what we would consider traditional e-commerce applications like the desktop. So they're really moving straight into the mobile device as a means to transact and purchase online.
And finally, Ross, what's on the horizon for 99 Wuxian in calendar 2014? What would you really like to achieve?
Well, I think first and foremost we'd like to achieve a positive result for shareholders in respect to the share price. So we'd like to see the share price move up and reflect the very exciting growth industry that we're in China. As far as the company operationally, we have spent quite a lot of time this year developing some opportunities in terms of data mining with our business partners. We expect that coming into the second quarter of 2014 we'll see some fairly major initiatives announced with business partners around some of those data mining activities, and we also believe that we'll see in the short to medium term continued very strong organic growth in registered users and total transaction volume.
Well, Ross Benson, thanks for the update on 99 Wuxian.
My pleasure, Dallas.